name is Mandy and I'm an occupational therapist and have been for quite a long time, and I work in the Bath area, and so for me, the whole job is about helping people to be independent in their own home environment. So all the ideas that they've come up with are just, it doesn't matter how small a problem, if it's a problem to you then it's a problem. They were really inspiring. I just think it's absolutely amazing that some young people have thought about some issues that that they haven't got, that other people around them are going to be facing. So you can't feed yourself very well, or you can't open a packet or something. All things that are so important to be independent and not rely on somebody else. I think that's amazing that they even thought about it.
I'm Simon. I go to Loughborough University. I live up north in Lincolnshire, and I'm currently doing product design engineering at Loughborough University. It's a 5-year course, a master's. I did a placement year in my 3rd year. It's a mix of manufacturing engineering, design, materials engineering. I found out about the competition through student enterprise at Loughborough University. I like the idea of solving solutions and helping the elderly. I can relate to that, sort of seeing how my grandparents have been sort of struggling with various everyday problems. So I looked at the videos online and spoke to my mum, who's an occupational therapist, and she gave me her opinion on various problems. There was a large amount of videos, around 100 videos uploaded, some on behalf of people with problems communicated by the carers, and some by the people themselves that had the problems. There's a variety of different problems. Some more commonly came up than others. Some were fairly unusual that I'd never considered before, and I sort of focused on the ones that seemed to be the most recurring problems that the most people were having issues with. My idea is a new simple tool to help the elderly open difficult packaging. So lids that you have to peel off milk cartons, difficult to open cereal packets, packages for hams and meats, that sort of thing. Things that either require quite a bit of strength, the gripping and pulling to tear apart, or normally end up people resorting to knives to cut them open, which can be quite dangerous. So I looked for a safer, easier to use solution. With the competition, a lot of the videos were outlining problems that solutions are already been designed for. So one area that's quite difficult was coming up with something unique. And then once I'd had my initial concept, it was designing it so it could be easily manufactured and also quite easy to use as well was a big challenge. I did a lot of research online, looked at existing products. I looked for products that are sort of on the market already and what their weaknesses were, whether they're too expensive, whether they're too complicated, whether they weren't stylish and appealing enough, because a lot of them looked more like medical devices than something that people would be comfortable using around the house. I thought the competition was very interesting. I like the really sort of good format of having all these videos posted online, and you could choose your problem if you like. You weren't given the one problem that you had to solve, so you had the freedom of choice to select through and find the ones that were most sort of reflective of the areas and care and that sort of thing. I received an email earlier this week saying that I'd won, which is a great surprise. I'm obviously very happy about that, and I'm glad to see that my work paid off.
My name is Martynas. I came here from Lithuania, currently studying in Bradford University, product design. I'm in my 2nd year. In product design studies we do a lot of various things. We learn about manufacturing processes, about materials, how to use certain software to finish off your projects and stuff. Basically what else we do, we present our ideas, we learn all that stuff. My future plans would be in a design field, and that would be related with extreme sports equipment, because I'm a skateboarder as well. Like, I'm skating for 8 years, so basically I want to do something with snowboards, BMX, skateboards, rollerblades, like sort of additional equipment, and sort of directing my life that sphere. IfOnly competition was like part of our course task. We have options from choosing DIP project and Bath competition. So basically I've seen a bigger field of innovation in Bath competition, and I chose this competition. IfOnly competition is basically designing a product based on an existing problem, and the product should suit the masses as well as disabled people and elderly. There was about 100 videos on IfOnly competition channel on YouTube, and I chose the video which has a problem with the kettles, and people with arthritis or elderly people are struggling with lifting kettles. So I replaced the kettle with water boiling device which sits on the cups and mugs and boils the water in the mug. When I was creating my design, the main thing I needed to do is explore the problem, like going very deep in the problem, exploring the problems around the actual problem and like putting everything together. So that's the main thing, and of course the research about anthropometric data, about behavior, the consumer's behavior and stuff like that. Yeah, I would like to thank all my tutors that helped me. Yeah, that was amazing people I'm working with.
Hi, my name's Sam Clarke. I previously lived in New York, which is where I got most of my inspiration to be a designer. I'm currently living in Surrey, south of London. I'm currently studying product design at Brunel University, and I'm hoping to go on to work in a design consultancy. That's my aim at the moment. The IfOnly competition appealed to me because it targets the smaller issues. It's not aiming at one product that can solve world poverty. It's aiming for the individual to improve one person's life. We were directed to look at the videos online on the IfOnly website, and also the app. Uploaded there are possible users and people with a problem that are uploading their specific problem, and from there, that's where the competition lies, in the sense of the designer can choose to solve that problem, identify that particular solution. I chose to look at a writing aid. I chose this from personal experience at primary school when I had a friend who suffered severe eczema. This was something that jumped at me as a problem that I could help him with. So specifically here it was his writing at school, and he couldn't grip a pen or a pencil because that would cause further irritation. So I chose that as a specific design point to solve for, and through working with that issue there are a greater spectrum of users, such as those like amputees or arthritis, and there are other users for it. As part of my research with the university, we used empathizing tools, so things such as movement restricting gloves, which was a particular help for my particular problem, but there are a number that we use to help us empathize with those that do have disabilities, even though at a young age I might not suffer from arthritis and other disabilities that we're dealing with. Inspiration really came from intuition. So when I was talking about empathy tools and using those, so it was, what movement impairments did it cause and how can I work around those? So it wasn't necessarily inspiration from the great surroundings, it was sort of pure function and trying to get something that would be fairly user-friendly.
I'm James, and I'm studying 3D design at Falmouth University, soon to be sustainable product design, but I'm originally from Poole, Dorset, and so yeah, I love being by the sea. 3D design at Falmouth University is really focused around sustainability and the user. It's all about inclusive design and how we can affect positive change, which is great. That's what I really like about it. As for my future career, when I graduate, I'd like to just keep making things. I was drawn to the IfOnly competition when I started watching some of the videos, and I could relate to them because, having spoken to my gran and granddad, they're affected by some of the issues that I saw in the video. So the thought of being able to create something that could help them in the future, that was really nice. But yeah, I think the prize money was definitely a factor as well. The video I watched was on Parkinson's and how it can cause shaking of the hand, but it related to my nan in that she's got a benign essential tremor which causes her hands to shake almost uncontrollably, and so when she's eating, obviously, as you can imagine, it causes a huge problem, and one of her favourite foods is soup. So I started there and I decided to just design something that could help her eat soup at dinner time. I've designed a set of counterweight cutlery to help steady the hand when eating with a hand tremor, or if you have Parkinson's and some of the symptoms caused by that. So it basically consists of an item of cutlery that is weighted with an offset weight to reduce the shake that can cause, obviously, eating difficulty. There were a number of challenges when designing the cutlery. Namely, it was trying to get my nan to test it, and she lived so far away from me that I couldn't keep taking it there to see her. So I had to try and replicate the tremor myself, and that in itself was a challenge, trying to create this artificial shake. But as soon as that was overcome, it was really just a case of the styling and aesthetics, because I wanted it to be truly inclusive and appeal to everyone. In terms of inspiration for my design, there's a guy studying the same course as me who actually suffers mildly from one of these hand tremors. And so seeing him on a day-to-day basis, it kind of just pushed me to go that little bit further and take extra steps to getting the design right. When I found out that I was a finalist in the IfOnly design competition, I immediately put it on my CV. That was the first thing I did. And then I just rang my family to tell them. It was pretty exciting, to be honest. But yeah, it's made a big difference in terms of being able to fill up that achievement section on the CV, which is so important, you know, for a prospective employer. But it's just been great fun, and it's, yeah, a lot of experience to take away from it.
My name is Leanne. I am from Dagenham in London, and I go to Nottingham Trent University. I'm in my first year of my BSc course, Product Design, and spend most of my time reading and listening to music. My course is focused on, at the moment, on developing our skills. So we have quite a lot of CAD and sketch lessons, we have project lessons, which are really beneficial. In terms of future career, I wouldn't mind starting my own business, but I think for the fact that I'd like some experience, I'd like to work for a different company, but I'm not quite sure what I want to design yet. By watching the movies, I discovered that I had to solve a real problem, not just redesign something that doesn't work as well as it probably should. So I actually started to think about what goes wrong in daily life, not just the huge problems, but the little things that aren't solved, and that's where I got my idea from. My source of inspiration was my friends. I did ask them a few questions about what they might struggle with in day-to-day problems, so they gave me quite a lot of advice and a few options. I think the IfOnly competition is amazing. It gives people a chance to actually conquer a lot of problems that are going on and aren't solved, and it's really good that a product might actually come of use and help people out. So I think it's really good. I feel like my product would benefit a lot of people, just for the simple reason that at the end of a long day you might not want to be frustrated by that small little problem that could just be solved so easily. So I think my product would make a big impact on someone's day.
I'm Dr. Nigel Harris. I'm the director of the Bath Institute of Medical Engineering. We're a design and development charity working to produce products for people with disabilities and health problems. Leanne's concept was the keyhole catcher, and that really was great graphics and good images that presented the concept really well. As a panel, we were looking for a number of key features. And the first, of course, is unmet need, and the IfOnly app is a really great way of capturing unmet need and getting users to present that in a real way. And the second, of course, is good design, which is really important, and that includes aesthetics. That we know that how products look and feel make a really big difference to people's perceptions of them, and we wanted them to look really good, and all the entrants around the finalists, all the designs look really good. The other factor we would need to consider around is, has the users been involved in the development of the products, and was there evidence of that in the submission? And then finally, we were also keen to see if they considered design for manufacture, so how would the product be produced and manufactured? Well, I really hope that the IfOnly will inspire young designers to consider the needs of people with disabilities and health problems, and this is it's a big area of need, and we've seen some great designs, and I do hope that these will go on and make a difference to people's lives.
My name is Audrey. I was born in the 1920s, and I was carer for my husband with dementia for 12 years. I live alone, I'm not too young. I have to watch that I don't trip and I don't have accidents. I had some friends come to tea, and I did find when I picked up this teapot, it was falling, and I thought, well, if I lift that up, if I'm going to go into the dining room with it, I'm going to drop it. If you notice, the only way I can hold that teapot are with 3 digits. I can't get 4 in, not comfortably. So it's a hazard to start with.
My name's Karen Brown. I live in Chippenham in Wiltshire. I'm 40 years of age. I work in sales, and 2 years ago I had a fall. About 3 months on, I got diagnosed very, very quickly from the Mineral Hospital. I have a condition which is called CRPS. CRPS is called Complex Regional Pain Syndrome. It's a very rare condition that actually affects the nerves within your leg. Having been diagnosed with that about 6 months on, I then got diagnosed with chronic pain syndrome in my right hip as well. Since my diagnosis, and because I suffer a lot of pain, I can't stand for long periods of time. I found it to be extremely frustrating, some of the gadgets out there that are designed. I don't think the designers take into consideration people with disabilities.
My name's Rosie Cole. I work in a family business which my daughter now runs, and therefore that gives me a bit of time for my charities, and I'm absolutely passionate about my charities, and that has involved me in doing studies like this. One thing I noticed is I recently had a new phone. Great, we've all got these new phones. However, whilst buying the phone, I also bought a proper case. And I was told it just flips. Well, when you flip it and you open, it's fine. But if you flip it quickly, you find that it just falls to the extent that your phone goes on the floor and you break the back because it has no retention clip. I thought that was extremely poor, and that's my most recent example. To solve it, I've just had to have a case inside another case to stop the falling out. My husband has Alzheimer's, and not so much at this stage because he's in the severe stage, but when he had mild and medium Alzheimer's, we found that things like the microwave and the television remote were extremely complicated. We, as normal people, normal mindsets, look at a television remote, and you've got your television remote with your DVD on the bottom. To somebody with Alzheimer's, that is extremely complicated, and therefore they are unable to use it. If the design was more simple, then I think we would give an extension to these people of their independence. And with somebody perhaps who is a little younger having Alzheimer's, that's a very important factor. If products were better designed, and I feel, for example, something very simplistic like clocks or dates, or something that would be very easily readable and translatable for, and I'm looking purely from the Alzheimer's perspective or the memory loss perspective, then I would certainly invest, because the amount of effort and time and frustration, particularly as a carer, and you are very, very isolated, anything that will help our lives to become easier and to become far less complicated for our cared for would be such a benefit. I was absolutely fascinated when I heard what you were doing with this session, because we all like to think about things and we're all trying to help everybody else, and in your everyday life you are thinking, if only they could do this, if only they could do that. And I think the fact that you've got this absolutely critical phrase for your young designers has been absolutely paramount to what you're doing, and I can only congratulate you all, and thank you very much for taking an interest in us.
If only!